Hello, my name is David DeSantis, and today I'll be presenting you the importance of right to privacy and how intelligence-led policing has impacted this aspect of our daily lives. The right to privacy, or sometimes referred to as the right to be left alone, was first introduced in 1789. Many Americans expressed fears of the newly formed United States government becoming tyrannical, just as the Crown of England had been before the American Revolution. In summary, the Fourth Amendment states, "The right of the people shall be to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated." Both the right to know and the need to know must be established and legally recognized if an authorized recipient is allowed to receive that information. Need to know does not just pertain to one who is an officer of the law, but if that individual directly relates to the job assignment. These aspects of law enforcement define how the concept of privacy rights are legally followed in the modern realm of intelligence-led policing. The right to privacy is covered extensively throughout our textbook, but Chapter 4 provides an excellent analysis on how Griswold versus Connecticut changed the construct of privacy rights in the United States. The Griswold case defines certain rights to marital privacy, as well as a number of other privacy rights cases that would come up in the future. Prior to this case, there was little to no guidelines on intelligence-led policing, policing's need for information, and comparing that to individual privacy rights. During the early 1970s, a number of government scandals took place. The Watergate scandal revealed to the nation that the government was full of corruption on several levels, and a growing distrust of government among the American population began to manifest. This distrust prompted several legislatures to pass the Federal Privacy Act, which defined law enforcement restrictions and information collection on respecting individuals' privacy rights. The Privacy Act of 1974, quote, establishes a code of fair information practices that governs the collection, maintenance, use, and dissemination of information about individuals that is maintained in systems of record by federal agencies, unquote. This new standard provided law enforcement agencies with appropriate guidance on how to lawfully use personal information to conduct policing activities and research. The 1980s and the 1990s saw several cases where the concepts of right to privacy was upheld, but all of this progress was placed on hold by the enactment of the U.S. Patriot Act of 2001 in the wake of 9/11 terrorist attacks. This act provides law enforcement new legislation to fight 21st century crime, specifically targeting terrorism through the use of intelligence collection procedures. Several right to privacy violations have taken place since the enactment of the U.S. Patriot Act, including false accusations, unwarranted search and seizures, as well as searches of telephone, email, and financial records without a warrant. These privacy violations charged then CIA contractor Edward Snowden to leak classified information on government surveillance programs. This leak brought the public's primary attention to how the United States government was conducting surveillance on its people and if the people's privacy rights were being respected by the government. What is justifiable for intelligence collection? Are citizens' safety or are citizens' rights more important? These questions have been debated not only in the United States but around the world. Our government faces a massive problem because they are fighting 21st century crime where they need new and innovative methods of collecting intelligence. Although adaptation is essential for mission success, the question still remains, at what cost is the safety worth? These new policies and future policies regarding privacy rights will affect not only yourself, but your family and the people you associate with. Some governments, like the People's Republic of China, have no respect for privacy rights. The PRC government are willing to go as far as enforcing each citizen to have a social credit score. This comparison may be drastic, but the fear of government control on privacy will always exist for Americans, especially in this digital age where everyone has an online footprint. According to the Pew Research Center, the majority of Americans feel as if they have little control over data collection. Feel as if they have little control over data collected on them. This trend has only increased with the introduction of COVID-19, where citizens are becoming more reliant on technology and automated services to mitigate human interaction. With these challenges presented above in mind, our elected politicians must work with their constituents and provide proper communication on what policies might potentially cause privacy right violations. Additionally, law enforcement officials must work with the citizens they are protecting to ensure no privacy laws are broken. Training on privacy rights and what constitutes violations of those rights should be a top priority of local, state, and federal law enforcement entities. According to research conducted at bestvpn.org, the United States and England rank in the lowest category of countries in the International Privacy Ranking Index. Among the United States and England are nations like China, Russia, and Malaysia. Without understanding any additional facts, this alone is alarming enough to the United States, due for us ranking among some of the most controlling nations on Earth. It is likely that the United States law enforcement entities will continue their current operations. The government has not witnessed consistent widespread backlash on many of these violations against its people. Therefore, the government will likely increase the employment of new and more effective law enforcement techniques. These techniques will bring forth more accurate intelligence, but law enforcement officials still have an obligation in protecting privacy rights for every citizen. It is up to the citizen if one's absolute safety is worth the sacrifice of privacy. Here's a list of my resources and references, and this concludes my presentation. Thank you.